So, newcomers to Linux often are told or get the impression that you don't need an antivirus when you're using Linux. That's not strictly true, of course. I mean, Linux is a small target as far as malware and such, not like Windows or even Mac, but it's always advisable to have a layered approach to security, just, computer hygiene in general. And an antivirus is one of those layers, along with, watching where you download from, being aware of what you're downloading, verifying checksums on downloaded files, and so on and so on. Now, one of the freely available antiviruses for Linux is ClamAV. This is originally developed, I think, as a mail server antivirus, primarily for Unix, but now with a bunch of versions for different operating systems. The thing about ClamAV is that it's a command line program, and which is fine. I mean, it's not hard to use. In its default configuration, it's an on-demand scanner. So it's not running all the time in the background using up resources. You just use it as needed, which is what I do. If I'm downloading something, either, copying something from a Windows machine or maybe downloading something to deploy to a Windows machine, I usually scan it just to be sure before I put it on the Windows box. So for that purpose, it's nice to have some kind of UI, some kind of user interface, a graphical user interface. The one that was always in place up until recently was ClamTK, which was, and I hate to sort of talk bad about open source stuff because it's usually a labor of love for somebody, but in my experience, it wasn't very good. It was slow. When you tried to scan anything, it completely hung up. It would eventually finish, but it was very just odd using it. Well, I just found out recently, last week as a matter of fact, that there is a new thing called Clam UI, which seems to work very well, and it looks better than ClamTK, in my opinion. And I'm using it here on Basite Linux. So along the top here, you have, when you install this, it actually installs the components of Clam antivirus as well. So you don't have to have ClamAV installed first. You just install this, and it also installs ClamAV for you. So you can update your database here. This usually takes a few seconds. There we go. And the databases are updated a lot, so it's worth checking. I don't know if you can automatically do it. I haven't looked into it far enough yet. You can view the logs of stuff that's been checked already. Here's the components. Any quarantined items? None yet. And some other facts and figures here about what's been going on. Total scans, file scans, threats detected. That was a test. That's not an actual threat. I'll show you that in a second. The ICAR test is a well-known standard for checking just to make sure the mechanics of the antivirus are actually working. So you can run that, and it'll do a little test on a so-called ICAR file, and it will come up as a positive, but it's actually just a standardized test for antivirus products. So if you want to scan something, you can do files individually, add files, or folders. And there's also some profiles. You can do these, full scan of everything, home folder, quick scan, that kind of thing. I usually just do it manually. I've only been using this for about a week, so I'm not that versed in it. But it's been great so far. It works. It does what I need it to do. So an example would be something. I just want to check a file real quick. Okay. Let me pull something up here. There's some app images here. Let me grab the app image, pull it in there, start scan. boom, done. Easy peasy. That's the kind of thing I like in a product like this. It actually helps you do something quickly. This made me feel more happy than it should have done for something as simple as just a UI to an existing product. But it's really been very helpful. I'm really glad somebody came up with this. So Clam UI, new UI, at least new to me, UI for ClamAV, which is, I think, a good thing. It'll help, if those new users actually want to use something like ClamAV, it's going to be a lot simpler for them. So that's another video in the can. If you found this interesting or informative or even funny, give me a like and maybe even subscribe. And remember, be excellent to each other.